Take two.
Welcome everyone. Now we're talking about the 570 and the 770, which just arrived this week after being very patient or planning ahead on Joanne's part, anticipating what we will need. So we have one in stock now because one sold. 570 is here. The gift with purchase right now with the Dream Studio package until the end of January is either an embroidery module, which is the one like you see here, or an L450 serger. And we have a couple 770s in stock, which also make a great Christmas gift. And with that one, you get an L460, which is the serger behind it here, or the embroidery module that goes with it as well. And that's on, like I said, until the end of January. So both these machines are under, they call the Quilters Edition, and the reason they do is they both come with a stitch regulator, or BSR as some people might know. So all that refers to is Bernina stitch regulator. This is a $1,000 add-on. If you were to purchase this separately, it's $1,000. So there's the special foot. It has a lens that reads the movement of your fabric. We've got 3 different soles that can be used. And as far as the regulation goes, what it means is that you don't have to worry about your foot control being the speed. As you move your hands, it will speed up or slow down according to your hand movement. And that's what regulates the speed or your stitches. It also comes with a straight stitch plate, and a 97D comes with the 770 and a 97 comes with the 570. The D refers to dual feed, and on this foot here, this is a dual feed foot. It kind of has a horseshoe shape, and the dual feed just comes down from behind. I'm just pulling it down just like it was a presser foot actually, and that's it. And that's not your walking foot, but it gives you great feed from behind, helping push the fabric through with the feed dogs. So now we've got those with both things. The reason you would want a straight stitch plate is we have, if I take this foot off, both these machines are 9mm sewing machines, which means the space here is really wide. If you have a 5.5, that's not quite double, but almost. So the feed dogs are set far apart, and there's a center feed dog as well. And that's why Bernina has, with their box feed, has such great feed. These just pop off and on easily, and there's your straight stitch. And that gives you less play than the 9mm. I do know people who've also got a 5.5mm stitch plate to fit on here, so they could do a zigzag without getting the full play of a 9mm one. The nice feature on these machines is you can tell the machine, there's the 9mm that's selected. I would change it to 0. That allows me just to get out of that screen. And now if I select a zigzag stitch, it won't let me do it. It'll be just a straight stitch. And that's the advantage of the securing program, or the security feature, because we don't break needles that way. And then it's as easy as telling it that we've changed it, and it goes back. So anytime you make changes from these settings, they are going to turn yellow, okay? And on the side panel here, we have tension. There's individual thread tension per stitch. So if I select zigzag, there it is, it's a 4. The straight stitch was 5.25. And I can individually change the tension on each stitch if I need to as well. This is the foot selector. It's going to tell you for the foot for the stitch you have, the best foot or feet for the job. And then you scroll through and you'd see the whole selection. Of course, with a straight stitch, you're going to see every foot listed. We also have foot pressure, and I use this all the time. This is the amount of pressure on the foot. So if you see here, we can either use the hand dials to change it, so that's increasing. I typically am decreasing mine because I'm using it more with my free motion quilting. But if you ever find with zippers that you need to slacken off, that's all you have to do is bring it down, or you can use it this way, and then you X out, tells you you've changed it, so then you always kind of know, you have a visual that if you need to go back and you're doing regular sewing. But that relaxes your foot pressure and allows you to move things easier. Play with it. If you relax it too much, you'll notice you just kind of get a popping, and you don't want that to happen. This is the feed dogs, whether they're up or down, so when we drop them, it'll drop below that dotted line. And this is our bobbin indicator, which lets us, it flashes when your bobbin is down to 10%. And these are the large bobbins, so we're holding a lot more on these bobbins than the regular ones. So that was the biggest thing we all found, was the amount of thread this holds. So if you're not wanting a lot of thread, you actually don't need to wind it fully on the bobbin winder, which is up here. There's only one way now these go on. You cannot put them on the wrong way because they're tapered. So if I go to try and do that, it's not going to fit. And don't force it because you will break the bobbin winder. And they only go into the bobbin case in one way as well. Now we've got sidebar here is our stitch selection. So nothing to be scared of. They are computers, but I'm not a computer person and I can work with these. So we can open up the stitch package and we can scroll through. We have a stylus. Whoops, I've gone to buttonhole there, sorry. If we scroll through and touch that, it'll take you to the bottom of that selection. Now there's not 100 stitches in each package. So when we go to this package, we've got groups of 100, 3, 4, but that's just the labels they've given each of them. And then if you want to get into them, say we want the satin stitch group, that's all we do. And as long as you keep staying stitches, you can scroll through and find more. They're also all at the back of your manual so that you can actually find stitches individually if you want to see what's available. Alphabets, not embroidery, but this is a 9mm stitch width. So you're going to get nice clear lettering if you're wanting to do some mini labels. We have the buttonhole, and my favorite feature, I just show you quick, as I can go into my information and I can put a button on the screen. And if you see the yellow, it gets larger, smaller. I'm just using the dials. You'd put your button up to that, and then once your button fits that, you just get out. And now your buttonhole will stitch out with the button, the buttonhole foot. We have a quilt package of stitches, same thing, we can open those up. This is meant for the walking foot as it goes small stitches forward first and at the end. We have a personal folder here where you can save stitches or combinations of stitches. And then along the bottom, the home button will actually take us, if you have embroidery, there's embroidery included whether you use it or not, and that's how you would access it, or we just go to our regular stitching, which was in there. And I just closed that group. We have a setup menu here, and that allows us to customize a lot of things on our machine. And for updates, we have a tutorial that allows you to have a mini manual on hand and ideas. We have creative consultant, whoops. What am I doing? There, that's what you get with the creative consultant. These are referring to all different kinds of fabrics, which lends me to this help button here. I can touch the help button and touch the icon, because if I don't know what that is referring to, and it tells me. So that help button will work with anything you're working on. Get out. So clear that. If I want to hit the help button and hit the honeycomb stitch, it's going to tell you where to use that stitch. Okay, so that's going to be for most of almost everything on your machine, you can use the help button. Eco, it takes the lights away. So if I'm needing to change my bobbin, I can open the bobbin door up, and now there's a light in here. I can easily see in the bobbin area until you get a feel for it, because we always need to be using our eyes until our hands start learning, memorizing how to get in there. And then we can close it. Other way we would use this is if we were going to leave the machine for a little while, but we don't want to turn it off. It just reduces the amount of energy. And then we can turn it back on by touching that button. We have our needle position here, and if you look at the screen, if I got one, you can see that moving over, and that's 5 stitches on either side of center. So we have, and then the minus ones go to the left. And that's across the 9mm. So you've got a lot, and that's on both machines. All of these features are on both machines. And we have needle up or needle down is right on the screen, which is nice. I can touch that. That will finish sewing in the up position or finish sewing in the down position. We have our thread cutter here. And now the presser foot, I'm going to put the foot back on. And if I engage that dual feed, it's like that. The presser foot comes down with that button there now. You're not pulling it down from behind. But the other nice feature is if the presser puts up and you go to start sewing, you don't have to bring it down. You can just start sewing and it automatically goes down. So that's some of the basic features of both of these machines. I know we have a lot of customers who love both of them, and they're great machines for sewing or quilting. So hopefully someone will put a red bow on one for you. Doesn't that look nice?
Yay! Thank you.
Merry Christmas, everyone.